Good morning and a very warm welcome to the Behaviour Change Conclave 2026. A particular welcome to those of you who were with us last July when this gathering first took shape around a very simple idea. Behavior change is the driving force for inclusive, sustainable change, one that builds a future with people in it. A year on, the ground has shifted under all of us. Machines now sit at the very center of our daily decisions. What we read, what we buy, how we bank, how we're diagnosed, and increasingly, what we come to believe. So this year, we're asking a bit of a harder question. When intelligence is shared between people and machines, who is shaping whose behavior? And how do we hold on to human judgment and autonomy along the way? That is our theme for the day: behavior in the age of human and machine intelligence. Two quick notes before we begin. First, your phones. We would love your attention, and your camera roll will thank you later, trust me. So do keep them on silent if you can. Second, we are running a close clock today with some genuine hard stops because a few of our speakers have flights to catch or parliaments or foundations to get back to. And if we could respect those hard stops, I'd be very grateful. Nonetheless, our colleague Jyotika here will be here to keep us all in check. Now, I'd like to call upon Astha Bhakri, Deputy Director Policy at Ashoka CSBC, to introduce our inaugural guests, as well as Sharon Barnhardt, our Director Research, to receive them.
A very good morning, everyone. My name is Astha Bhakri. It is my privilege to welcome our two guests whose work sits at the very heart of today's theme. Please welcome our guest of honor for the inaugural address, Shri Awanish Kumar Awasthi ji, an officer of the Indian Administrative Service. Shri Awasthi ji has served the government of Uttar Pradesh across more than 3 decades in some of its most demanding roles. As Additional Chief Secretary Transportation and as the Chief Executive Officer of the Uttar Pradesh Expressways Industrial Development Authority, he oversaw the building of the Purvanchal and the Bundelkhand Expressways and launched the Ganga Expressway, the largest infrastructure project that the state has ever undertaken. He has held senior charge across home and information as well, and he now serves as the advisor to the Hon'ble Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. I now invite our guest of honor to the stage, where they will be received by our director, Sharon Barnhardt. Welcome, sir. For a special address, it is my privilege to welcome Ms. Archna Vyas, Director of the Gates Foundation India office, where she leads its work across health, sanitation, agriculture, financial inclusion, and gender equality. In partnership with our center, she helped establish the Behavioral Insights Unit within Niti Aayog, and her advocacy has helped place digital public infrastructure and women's economic empowerment on the agenda of G20. She has also served on the World Health Organization's advisory group on the behavioral sciences. May I request Archana Vyas to please join us? Thank you. Now, may I please request Shri Awanish ji to please come and deliver the inaugural address.
With me on the stage, Archna Vyas ji from Gates Foundation, Sharon, Director from our Center for Social and Behavioral Change. I have not come across a name which has so many strong words: Center, Social and Behavioral and Change. And that, I think, is a good name. And I asked somebody who has given this name, and I was surprised to know it is my batchmate from IIT Kanpur. And Pramath was part of this entire naming of the program. Gopi Krishnji, Palviji, and of course, Dr. Maheshwari, who has been after me to join on this here morning. And I'm so very happy that I'm here with all of you with this center, speaking on behavioral change with the help of technology. I'll give you a broad introduction of myself first. Why technology? How many of you are engineers? So I'm also an engineer, and I'm an engineer from IIT Kanpur, an electrical engineer. I'm also on the board of IIT Kanpur. We just had a board meeting yesterday, and I'm also a distinct alumni of IIT Kanpur. So technology is what we are talking about right now. How many of you are awake? कितने लोग जो है अभी सो नहीं रहे, जग रहे? I got up at 4 in the morning, took a flight at 6 from Delhi, went to the American embassy, got my visa cleared, and then I have come here. So how many of you are young? Very nice. Oh, lovely. How many of you are aware of what Modi ji has spoken about 2047, Viksit Bharat? How many of you are aware what is it about? That's it. Well, I am 64 years of age. I'm going to make it somewhat informal. I am 64 years of age, and I don't know whether I'll survive till 2047. But how many of you are below 35 or 40 years of age here in this hall? Good. It's you who's going to change India and change this country and make it Viksit, which is the developed country. And what is a developed country? A developed country is that which has an income, per capita income, which is more than about, in rupee terms, approximately between 15 to 20 lakh rupees a year. What is the per capita income of India right now? Anyone? Any guesses? Say around 2.5 lakhs per year. Our Uttar Pradesh's income is almost half of that, which is about 1.25, 1.3 lakhs a year. And this economic marker is what is required to take forward India. We are in Uttar Pradesh. I am a bureaucrat from Uttar Pradesh, having worked in Uttar Pradesh for very long. So I would like to give you 5 aspects of what change is all about, what behavioral changes bring about, what can technology do to bring about these behavioral changes, and where organizations like this center can partner with the state government, with other partners to do the actual work on the ground and do the last mile. How many of you know Yogi Adityanath ji, Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh? So, I was handling the information department of Yogi ji, and he is an MP from, I'm giving you an example, a live example. He is an MP from Gorakhpur, and Gorakhpur is one area which was the prevalence of Japanese encephalitis was widespread in that area. How many of you would know of what Japanese encephalitis is all about? Good, good, good. I'm trying to take response so that I can pick up the threads from all of you in the morning. So there were about, on an average, 2,000 deaths in and around Gorakhpur. And if people from the health area would understand, Japanese encephalitis is not a health issue. It is a sanitation issue. It is a behavioral change issue. It is a cleanliness issue. It is a issue where you have to wash hands in the morning, eat clean food, not ensure that you have clean sanitation. And Dettol, how many of you would know Dettol? Good. So Dettol asked us to do a campaign for distributing free soap in the villages of eastern Uttar Pradesh. And our Chief Minister said, well, good, or organize a huge program in a village. We had about 5,000 people in a village where we had any amount of soap available, so that all across from the villages, people had come to just get soap from us, free soap from us. And we got some 5 or 10 children to do the exercise, the visuals. So हाथ धोने का काम हम लोगों ने किया. And you will not believe it, the national media picked it the other way. They said कि चूंकि गांव के लोग ऐसे हैं जो एक particular caste के हैं, इसलिए हाथ धोने का काम किया गया. That is the problem that we faced right then. And it is then that my boss said that, well, we will go whole hog after this entire campaign. In the next 7 years, deaths in Japanese encephalitis has gone down to 0, and it had the whole hog of all the aspects of taking up a disease like this, getting better NICUs, getting more hospitals in the area, getting the primary centers to be more aware, to detect the children right at the first stage, ensuring that every village had sanitation, ensuring that every village had fresh drinking water, good drinking water. So this is one behavioral change which was possible, and I have a feeling that behavioral change only happens when there is a decision, a conscious decision to take it forward, and that is where strong leaders in our country are required to take things forward. That's one. The second aspect of behavioral change. I have been the Home Secretary of the state, and Uttar Pradesh has the largest police force in the world. When in 2017 our Chief Minister joined the state as the Chief Minister, we had about 350,000 police personnel, and less than 5% of the police personnel were women. And lo and behold, when we started this entire job of zero tolerance to crime and criminality and absolute rule of law, the first aspect of getting a police force to function for a good law and order in the state is to get more people, more police people. And their government of Uttar Pradesh decided to get 30% more, 30% women in every recruitment that was to be done. We now have 5.5 lakh police personnel in the state, and in the last 8 or 9 years, every recruitment has brought in 30% women, whether it is sub-inspectors, whether it is police constables. And these women, once they have come within the state, women security, Nari Suraksha is the one which is the target for our state. Why can't we make a safe state for women to take things forward? That behavioral change was possible only because there was participation of women within the police force. But now that women are there within the police force, how do we take these women, train these women to take them forward and become good police personnel, good police officers? That is again the second round of challenge that we have. And I would say that if we have organizations which can teach technology, which can do behavioral change for women within the police force, that is going to be a major area where we would be able to take our state forward. And I would say that if there is any help required to be taken forward, organizations or even individuals who would like to study this first and then take forward the corrective aspect of training, that is something where a lot of work can be done. The third aspect of behavioral change and use of technology is in the health area. The health area, there are any number of aspects of the entire health strategy which require behavioral changes within our system. Most of the diseases now are not infectious diseases. I am a diabetic myself, and it is behavioral change in me and myself which will ensure that I don't really get into the serious aspects of diabetes. Health issues like heart issues, health issues like stress, and then health issues of mental stress. That is an area where a lot of work needs to be done. I can tell you, we in Uttar Pradesh are now going for a health stack in a large scale fashion. IIT Kanpur is the partner in Uttar Pradesh, and they are building an entire health stack for our state using of AI to detect markers within the health profile of each person is where a lot of work can be done. We attended a summit on AI and health in Uttar Pradesh. This was the build-up to the AI summit in Delhi, and Mr. Abhishek, who was heading AI, the entire AI structure, he had come to Lucknow. He is also from IIT Kanpur. And when we were preparing for the program, I spoke to our Chief Minister that if Government of India can put 10,000 crores in AI, why couldn't Uttar Pradesh, which is a huge state and we are a revenue surplus state, why can't we also have a program on AI? So he asked us to jot down some notes, and I was so happy. And I can say this, that on the stage of AI and health, our Chief Minister has announced that UP in the next 5 years will invest 2,000 crores as a special fund to take AI forward in any area possible, whether it be health, whether it be agriculture, whether it be education, or any of these. My problem now as an officer of the state is to get good projects to take these things forward. So money is not an issue. The issue is to get good ideas, then to have a good program, then to have a good team, and then to have a good team to implement what has been envisaged. So this is another area, health and AI, where a lot of work can be done. I have just got a Center of Excellence executed at Gorakhpur. This was with the help of TCS. The Hon'ble Chief Minister and Mr. Chandrasekharan, Chairman of TCS, had inaugurated it. We have started a Center of Excellence on AI, on drones, on 3D printing, as well as robotics. And when we got women and girls into the basic fundamental teaching of AI, we found that girls are doing better in trying to learn what new technology is all about. And I can tell you, we established an NVIDIA instrument, new computer there. Now we are looking for good projects from IITs, from triple ITs and others, so that we can use the entire computing power that we have to take things forward. There are any number of projects which can be taken up, and UP is the largest population. We are more than 25 crores. So use cases, details, all of that can be readily available. So much of data is available to take forward and making our own Indian models of AI. Now that is a challenge which I can say it so very easily. We are all following models which have been made in a foreign country, but can we have models, AI models of India, which can serve us and provide solutions to us, so that we can also secure our data and take our things forward. So this is the third area where a lot of work is possible. The fourth area is schools. I am the chairman of a committee which oversees the $1 trillion economy project for Uttar Pradesh. Deloitte is our Deloitte is our partner. We have some 60, 70 odd very good team which work in every area possible for taking our state forward in the growth of its GDP. So in schools, we thought that why don't we look at what are the problems in schools. We came across an economist called Jeffrey Sachs. He came all the way to Lucknow, spoke to our Chief Minister. We had a talk with him. The only thing that he said, if you want to take your state forward for the $1 trillion economy, only and only, mark my words, only and only work on the learning outcomes. Only and only work on skilling. If the state is able to get good learning outcomes right from class 1 to college or to the higher courses, and if it can provide good quality skilling which can be used for providing a job to the person, the job of the government is done. Nothing else is required. Infrastructure can come, the private sector can come, all other things can happen, but these are the two areas where a lot of effort is there. I have adopted a school, a primary school in the state of Uttar Pradesh in Lucknow. And when I went to the school and Nipun is what is being implemented, I got my 5 or 6 researchers to do the Nipun verification in front of my own eyes. And we had a class we have a class 3 group where I actually sat in the class and I asked each child to go to the board and explain what is there on the board. And I found that out of the 30, the teacher wanted 5 of the children to go to the board and show that, well, they are doing very well. So those 5 were at the top of the class. Another 10 or 15 were there who were average, but they were reasonably good. But there were 10 children within the class who were much below average. We have a education policy which was brought about by an education minister of zero retention. I don't know why a decision was taken by the government of India to have a zero retention policy. पढ़ोगे देखोगे कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं, फिर भी आप promote हो जाओगे. And this is the problem in the government system. We have now started having exams in the government schools, but these 10 children, I am told by my people in the education sector that if AI can be used, if they can be given tablets, if they can be given special courses, these children would have individual support through AI to teach them the areas in which they are weak. Now, this is another major area where a lot of work can be done by organizations like yours, who can take some model districts, maybe about 50, 100 schools, where over a period of time, in about 2 or 3 years, by the time the child from class 1 or 2 goes up to class 5, we can measure their learning outcome to see whether technology and AI can provide a solution. I don't think in Uttar Pradesh we have yet tried this out. I am not aware of what is happening across the country. I am not aware of what is happening across the world. But we need to adopt international learning standards if we want to take a state or country forward. And this is where another lot of effort is required to be done. The final area in which I would like all of you who are, any one of you who are aware of the agriculture sector or working in the agriculture sector, anyone from the agriculture side? No, none. Anyway, there is one. Yes, you are from the agriculture side. Very good, good. I'm so very happy that we have at least one person. So this is another area where AI can work very strongly, and this is what we are trying at Gorakhpur also. Use of AI in the use of fertilizers, in the use of pesticides, because we have been absolutely, totally regardless of the way we have used our fertilizers and our pesticides. And this has caused deterioration of the soil qualities. This has caused deterioration of the entire ecosystem within our state. Even the productivity of most of the crops, the cost of production of the crops have gone very high. You are aware of what is happening internationally with the oil prices, with fertilizer prices. So this is another area where there is so much of scope to take things forward. Quite a few people would be unaware that farmers in Uttar Pradesh, the new generation of farmers in Uttar Pradesh are technically quite savvy, and the new generation are very well aware of what technology is all about. A sugarcane farmer in Uttar Pradesh earns much more than me. So they are technologically very savvy. They are aware of all the gadgets that are available. They are aware of all the new varieties of sugarcane and other things which are available. They are also aware of cropping patterns. They are also aware what fertilizers are which. So if we can have a sustained campaign to use AI in agriculture, this is another area where a lot of effort can be done. A lot of women are now drone didis. A lot of women are also working in agriculture very formally. So women-led agriculture is also another area where AI can take things forward, and I am sure it can be taken to task. So there are 5 areas I have spoken about. One, washing hands, and how behavioral change is so very difficult. I have handled the media of Yogi ji, so I am very well aware of what media is all about. Behavioral change also happens through the national media, through the state media. Behavioral change also happens through social media. But the problem with current social media is it's very negative. And how many are on social media platforms? Avoid them. Believe me, if I had my way, I would say that every child to the age of 16, social media should be banned. Some countries have already adopted it. The level of concentration of children is now not more than 5 minutes. And this is a problem with social media. If they are carrying gadgets in the class, that's not a good idea. So that's another area where a lot of effort will be required to take things forward in behavioral change areas. Because if we are going to have a behavior such that we are always on social media, whoever we are, and we are always negative on social media, we will have a country which is purely negative. And this is another threat to us, threat of deep state, threat of all sorts of attacks on our minds. And this is where another challenge is there. It's a huge area to work upon, but the impact of social media on children in Uttar Pradesh is something I can also work upon. And this is another area where I would seek support from behavioral scientists to take things forward. I have another introduction of myself. I have been the Joint Secretary of Disability in Government of India, and it was under our partnership that the Persons with Disability Act 2016 was brought about in the country. Our Prime Minister is very pro-disability, but I am very, very closely associated with the mental health areas because the entire act was brought about by us. This is one area which is quite uncharted in our country. This is one area where during COVID we faced such challenges because people sitting at home did not have proper advice, and to find clinical psychologists all across the state was so very tough. This is another area of clinical psychology, of positivity in the mind uh, for students, for married women. These are areas again where automatic technical support through AI can also support solutions to our problems of day to day. So I didn't have a formal speech ready with me, but I would like to thank Dr. Maheshwari and Sharon, because in our discussion in the morning, I thought that these are the points I'd like to put forth. I am here, available here. So if there are questions from the audience, I would welcome them, because I would always like to face a question. And if you would like to ask on Uttar Pradesh or anything in the state, we will be very forthcoming. I am very happy to know that the center is working in Uttar Pradesh in a very strong fashion, and you are into Anganwadi workers, you are into self-help groups. The self-help groups of Uttar Pradesh have done extremely well. I was in Jhansi very recently with the Chief Minister. Self-help group for women who are collecting milk. They Baleni, they were brought about within our system in 2017-18. They are now having a turnover of 7 crores, and they asked for the Chief Minister to get a chilling plant done, and he immediately said yes, because money is not the issue, is to get the ideas on the ground. So once again, I'd like to thank all and everyone, the center again, for contributing to the state of Uttar Pradesh. Ultimately, all of what you do gets the state to build a $1 trillion economy. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for your inspiring words, sir. May I please request Ms. Archana to please come on the dais now?
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for having me. Um, it's a privilege, and I'm really delighted to be here today. Awasthi ji, tough act to follow. Your passion is immense, and your knowledge and depth of work that you've done in the state of Uttar Pradesh, but also nationally, is truly commendable. Congratulations to Center for Social and Behavior Change, Sharon, Pawan, your team, Maheshwari ji, and everybody here for this conclave. It gives me true delight, especially because I've been associated with the center for a very, very long time. It's been 9 years since the center was conceptualized. It was given birth to. I was privileged to be involved with the center, and so every time I see this team organize and spread scientific thinking when it comes to behavior, it personally gives me a lot of delight. So it feels also like homecoming. It feels like I'm with my team. It's good to see a full hall here today. So Awasthi ji, you spoke about fundamentally many things, and I should say that Gates Foundation is also very privileged to be working with you in the state of Uttar Pradesh. You spoke about JE. We were we worked with you very hard at that point in time to save lives. And you're right by saying that it was leadership of Honorable CM who was so determined to tackle the issue of Japanese encephalitis, which no longer mars children and their lives today. So it's kudos to you, your leadership and leadership of Honorable Chief Minister. All of the areas, first of all, I'm also taking the opportunity of being here and Awasthi ji being here to just apprise him of the work that we do. And, on the Center of Excellence that you spoke about in Gorakhpur, we'd be very happy to work with you. Even with IIT Kanpur, there is work that's happening from the foundation side in use of, in developing innovations and innovative solutions for areas that we work in, which is around health, agriculture, education, and women's economic empowerment, and so many other areas. So we'd be happy to work on those. But also, you spoke about educational outcomes, agriculture sector. We work closely on foundational learning and literacy, personalized learning that can be brought forward by use of artificial intelligence, but also teachers to design customized curriculum. In the state of Uttar Pradesh, working in districts with Central Square Foundation, learning outcomes are actually improving, but scaling those further, we'd be very happy to support in any which way. Agriculture, you're absolutely right. Again, Bharat Vistar, working with Ministry of Agriculture on Bharat Vistar in Maharashtra, on Mahavistar, Bihar, and UP is a state where, increasing farmer registry, use of artificial intelligence for, again, as you said, judicious use of fertilizers, but also in terms of advisories in local languages, the way that farmers can understand is definitely an area that artificial intelligence can come forward, provide those solutions, and is providing those solutions. So coming back, Center for Social and Behavior Change. I think your work across states is truly commendable. We've done various things with you, worked with you at the central level, designed campaigns in a way that behaviors shift, large campaigns. I mean, our work on COVID was exceptional. Our work that we did with Jal Shakti ministry was truly about judicious use of water. How do you work with panchayats? How do you work with those on the ground who have social impact to be able to take on behaviors that would then deliver ultimate results and outcomes that we'd like to see. It's great to see the breadth and expanse of your work. Especially, I think the center has been catalytic in a way that a lot more incubation of one is understanding of behavioral insights, but field building, a lot of incubation of behavioral insight. Other institutes, other organizations who are working in states as well as at the central level. So that is truly commendable. The one point which Awasthi ji has spoken about, we are really happy about your work in Uttar Pradesh, that you work closely with the government. You're not sitting outside, but you're within and making those changes within, which from Gates' perspective is fundamental, because that helps you and us deliver scale, right? And not necessarily doing it in a parallel way. Now, coming to the topic in terms of technology and AI and how it is important. From our perspective at Gates Foundation, we think, we have a life now. We have now 19 years left as a foundation. And at the same time, we draw inspiration from Viksit Bharat 2047. Our foundation will sunset in 2045, very closely linked with the trajectory of Viksit Bharat. We think, if you look at NFHS today, there has been so much of progress that's happened in the state of UP, that's happened in the state of Bihar. Even look at the indicators on maternal mortality, child mortality. Those benefits are being accrued with the interventions that are being delivered, but we believe that for the next stage of further improvement, innovations, technology, AI will help bridge those gaps faster, because we also take into account the trajectory of digital transformation in the country, and we believe that how it is the technology is being accepted by people, by communities. It has, and further with responsibility, use of contextual solutions, languages, Indic languages, the trajectory can be even faster. But we know that technology in itself cannot deliver results. It is about behavior shifts, and those behavior technology will be accepted only when it is perceived to be useful, only when it is found to be making people's lives easier and better. And this is where behavior science comes in, because artificial intelligence is designed by people to influence people, right? So it is interesting that we are going to be studying impact of artificial intelligence all across, but thinking about behaviors as artificial intelligence is being designed is super critical, right? And therefore frameworks that take into account understanding when um, and how technology can be friendlier and how it can be accepted better would be a key role. And I'm sure that the academics like yourself are thinking about what works and what doesn't work. And also, I think in India, while we are thinking a lot more and what we as a country bring forward is rich context, right? The fabric of community, how communities behave, what are the challenges within the community. The context is really rich, but at the same time, an institution like yours with interdisciplinary skills and knowledge of psychology, of economics, of community, of technology, of computer science is of great value, but also the you belong to an international community and knowledge that exists even outside. I think that would be extremely valuable as we think of as organization like ours work with technologists, work with governments, thinking about sovereign models, hyperscalers. How should we be designing our programs for better acceptance? As I said before, that our work spans health, agriculture, it spans education. We are, so to say, human development, human capital organization. For us, technology and solutions are not for the sake of, but they are for improving lives and productivity of people. But working with you at the start, as we think about innovations, but we should also think about acceptability and adoption at scale. So I think that's pretty fundamental. You touched upon issue of deepfake and also trust. So both in terms of when can technology harm, but when can technology be also trustworthy? I think it's a key area. It's an area and issue that we are thinking deeply about. We care a lot about communities and how the technology needs to be inclusive but also trustworthy and deliver for community. I'm looking forward to the conversations that you're having today, some key topics that would get discussed. And the foundation has been chairing on the side, has been with you in those rooms as well. So we draw a lot of learning from the work that you do. And my congratulations today. And we are happy to partner with you in whatever you do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Archana. Thank you so much, sir. I'd like to request our guests to stay on, please.
So, Madam mentioned about Har Ghar Nal, the entire campaign for providing water for every rural household. Now, this is a campaign in Uttar Pradesh which is going to cost us 80,000 crores. And the almost 30 to 40% of the job is done. But again, the question of whether you'll keep the tap open or whether you'll keep the tap closed, whether you will use water only to the extent required, or whether you'll use water to the extent that you will not allow the next houses to get the water. I have just traveled in Bundelkhand, that's the dry area of Uttar Pradesh, with our Chief Minister, And he mentioned this, that the challenge is not to provide water to the houses. The challenge is how to make people understand how to use that water. And that's, believe me, the next challenge that we have. We had the sanitation campaign, we have the education campaign. This is going to be the major challenge, because all of that money will go down the drain if we don't have a system where people follow the rules.
Thank you so much for that perspective, sir. Thank you.